Hello Uplanders, I'm YK2012 and I'm going to be talking to you about the property card. This is going to be the most important video that I am going to create as part of the Upland guide. So it's really important that you guys understand what I'm going to be explaining because Upland is a play to earn game. So that actually means by playing you are able to earn both UPX and also US dollars. All of these numbers here are factors in how much money you are actually going to be able to earn in Upland. So it is extremely important to watch this video and to understand how all of these numbers work and the calculations behind them. As I mentioned, Upland is a play to earn game. So this means that on every property that I own, which are these dark blue properties, I'm actually earning UPX right now. We can see here that the UPX purchase price is 30,240 UPX. So this means that I bought the property. I minted this one actually during the release of Nashville, and I purchased this from Upland for just over 30,000 UPX. Now everyone earns 17.28% annual yield on the properties that they own. So this means that I bought this property for 30,240 UPX, and if I'm going to multiply that by 0.1728, 17.28%, that means that in a year, just by owning this property, I'm going to earn another 5,225 UPX. Now, if I want to see how much that is on a monthly basis, I'm going to divide that by 12. And essentially what we can see here is this number 435 is the monthly earnings, which are the standalone monthly earnings. So again, 30,240 times 17.28% over 12 months is going to give me 435. And again, if I just do 0.1728 divided by 12, it's the number 0.0144. So as I continue on in this video, I'm going to be using that number to do a lot of the calculations. Now using this number 0.0144, I'm going to show you what else you can do with that. In the middle of creating this video, Upland came out with a very important announcement. So it actually fits in perfectly with the video that I am making right now, and it's really important to take a break and explain what is going on here. So Upland has now announced that there will be a property earning adjustment. The reason that they are doing this is because Upland is growing in such a way that the economy is starting to become able to support itself. This was all indicated in the Upland white paper as well, and it's important to note that when you're starting a game like Upland and trying to build a metaverse, you have to create incentive for people to join it. And one of those incentives was providing this 17.28% return on your properties. That was a way to entice people into joining the metaverse and buying properties and selling properties. Now that there are so many people in the metaverse and there's a active economy with many other options of things to do like trade legits and buy legits and purchase block explorers as well, that Upland is now able to decrease those earnings, and they have indicated here that the base yearly property earning will be adjusted to 14.7% from 17.28%. That's going to be in about 1 month from now. So this video was created on December 30th, 2021. So this is not a bad sign. This is a good sign for Upland. This is going and saying that Upland is succeeding. We are seeing that there's a large increase of players, and we all experienced that in the last couple of releases in the cities where everything was purchased extremely quickly. So this gives you approximately a month to try and change your strategy if you feel the need to change your strategy based on this decrease in property earnings. And what this means for the rest of our calculations is that in about 1 month, in order to do these exact same calculations, you're going to have to use 14.7%. So what we did up until now, we are using 0.1728, 17.28% divided by 12 months, which is 0.0144. So that's the magic number I'm going to be using. And in the future, you're going to want to use 14.7%, divide that by 12 months, and that magic number will be 0.01225. So this is something that's important to take note of at this point in time, and be aware of that as you continue to develop your strategy in the metaverse, whether it be purchasing properties and trading those, or starting to venture into things like block explorers or legits. And they have some very interesting and important information in this notice, which I will attach at the bottom of this video. And it's important to read about the videos and all these other. It's important to read about meta ventures and businesses and block explorers and all sorts of other important things that are listed here. I will have another video about those in the future. But I just wanted to bring attention specifically to this property earning adjustment, which is one of the basis of Upland and property earning. It's really, really important that you take that into consideration moving forward. Beyond that, it is important to note that these numbers are flexible. It doesn't mean that the earnings will only decrease. Based on how the Upland economy works, and moving forward, it's possible that this number might go up again. Now back to the explanation. I'm going to show you how to calculate the original mint price from a property that is not your own. I'm going to click on this property here, which is for sale, and we can see here that it is on sale for 1.25 million UPIX. If I wanted to calculate the mint price of this property, I can go and look at the earnings, 580.61, and divide that by 0.0144, which is what we used previously as the interest rate. And here we can see that 40,320 UPIX is the mint price of this property. So this player, assuming that he minted it, he paid 40,000, just over 40,000 UPIX for it, and now he is asking upwards of 1 million UPIX, 1.25 million UPIX. It's important to note also here that it says how much you'll end up paying. This number here is actually 5% more than the asking price. So 5% is taken from the buyer and 5% is taken from the seller for a total of 10%. And this money actually goes back into the community pool. And the community pool is used to distribute money to all the users and to actually pay these monthly earnings. So that money is going back in, but to take a look at the base, we're going to be using the asking price here. Next, I want to be able to calculate the markup. So the markup is essentially how many more times am I paying the mint price in order to purchase this property. So what I can do is I can take the UPIX asking price, the 1.25 million, and I'm going to divide that by the mint price, the original price of this property, divided by 40,320, and we can see here that the asking price is 31 times what the original mint price was. So this is something that's important that you can calculate and compare between different properties, and this is something that I like to do in order to see how much more expensive this property and maybe even this neighborhood is going for. The next field that I'm going to explain here is the up to size. This is the property size. So 48 refers to the actual real world size of this property, where 1 up to is 9 square meters. So this property here is 48 times 9, which is 432 square meters. Now, in Upland, we don't talk in terms of square meters. We actually use these up to size. The size is important to take note of because this will be one of the factors that can determine what type of structure you are able to build on your property. If your property is too narrow or too small in general, you may not be able to build certain types of structures on top of it. So it's important to take note of the up to size if you're thinking of developing your property. And the second thing that it is used for is to calculate something that is called the neighborhood value. Now, the neighborhood value is extremely important because that enables you to compare different neighborhoods. So a 48 up to size property in the downtown neighborhood here is not equal to a 48 up to size property in a different neighborhood. And that's because of the neighborhood value. So in order to calculate the neighborhood value, this is something that is not shown here in the property card, but it is the most important thing to know. So the neighborhood value can be calculated from a different property that you don't own by taking the mint value, which again is 580.61 over 0.0144. So 40,320, the mint price, and dividing that by the up to size. So the monthly earnings turned into the mint price divided by the up to size, in this case gives me 840. So this means that for every up to, so one up to is going to cost me at a base price 840 UPX. So by looking at this 840 UPX, I'm able to normalize the size of the property to 1 up to, and with that number I'm now able to look at different neighborhoods, either neighboring this neighborhood or different neighborhoods in the city or different neighborhoods in Upland altogether, and do that exact same calculation, and I'm able to compare how valuable that neighborhood is per up to. Going back to my property now, I'm going to show you how it's a little bit easier to calculate that, just because I'm shown the mint price. So here we can see that the purchase price, I know that in this case it was the mint price, so 30,240 divided by 36 up to is again that 840. So it's all normalized, and now I know, looking at other properties in Nashville or anywhere else, I'm able to understand and get a good feel as to how this neighborhood measures up to different neighborhoods. So because this is downtown, and downtown is a more expensive place typically in Nashville and in many other cities, we can expect that this number to be more expensive. So when you're out looking for different properties that you might want to purchase on the secondary market, if I just zoom out here and I hover over the map bordering several different neighborhoods here, there are 3 different neighborhoods, and I go ahead and click on this button to take a look at the properties nearby, I'm able to see different properties here with the price that they are being sold for, as well as the size. So this is extremely dangerous what I'm doing here, because I'm not really comparing apples to apples, because each of these neighborhoods have a different neighborhood value. So if I'm looking here at this 1414 Joe Johnston Avenue, I go ahead and click that. It's going to take me into a different neighborhood here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this exact same calculation of 242.04 divided by 0.0144 to calculate the mint price, and I'm going to divide that by the up to size, and this neighborhood value is only 191. So comparing that to 840 of downtown, we can see that this neighborhood is not worth as much as what you would see in downtown. So in terms of if you wanted to buy that or not, that's something completely different, because we're not really comparing apples to apples here. So what I like to do is, whenever I'm looking for properties in a specific neighborhood, I'm always going to make sure that I'm zoomed in far enough, or that the borders of that neighborhood are beyond the size of my screen. That way, when I come here to look at properties that are nearby, I know that I'm only looking at properties of this neighborhood and that are inside my window here. So here we're able to see prices that are much higher because the downtown neighborhood is actually a collection neighborhood as well. So that is one of the reasons why the prices here are much larger than those neighboring neighborhoods. Another important tip is that if I wanted to go ahead and purchase this property, I'm obviously going to click on it. I'm going to see what it looks like, but more importantly, I'm going to click here and click on the boosted earnings, and I'm going to verify that in fact this property is part of the downtown collection. So by clicking on these boosted earnings, it will actually show you and calculate for you what the earnings will be if you were to have owned this property and have it in one of these collections. So it can either be in the newbie collection, which means holding one property, any one property in Upland, the Nashville collection, which is to hold 3 properties in Nashville, and the downtown collection, which means in this instance holding any 2 properties in the downtown neighborhood. So before I buy any properties, especially ones that I think are collection properties, I'm going to click here and verify that it is in fact in that collection property. And I do that because it's still possible that maybe I didn't zoom in far enough, or maybe I've got a couple of properties from one of these other neighborhoods creeping into this this listing here. So I'm always going to want to verify that. So now the last item on the property card which we need to go over, and I touched upon briefly previously, is the boosted earnings. As I mentioned, you can click on here to see all the different collections that this property is a part of, and we can also see here that currently this property is part of one of the collections, and we can take a look at this number 2482, and we can go in here and see that that matches the downtown collection. So that means that currently this property is in the downtown collection. I don't have the required properties in order to create the full Broadway or live music venue set, but if I were to go out and purchase some of those properties in order to create the set, then I would be able to find out here what the monthly earnings would be. Now, if I wanted to understand exactly how much the boost is from that collection, there's another calculation that I can do here. So for example, if I want to know what the boost on the live music venue collection is, I can do that calculation. We know that the newbie collection gives you a 1.1 times boost. That means on the monthly property earnings, the base price multiplied by 1.1 will give us this number for the newbie collection. But if I want to know how much the live music venue collection is, I can take the number there, 3527.2, and I can divide that by the newbie collection value, because I know that. Now I'm going to multiply this 2.45 times 1.1, and the 1.1 again is the boost value for the newbie collection, and we are going to get 2.6999, which is effectively 2.7. So that means that the boost on the ultra rare live music venue collection is 2.7 times the base monthly earnings. So in summary here, we've gone over a number of important things here we see in the property card, which is calculating the mint price and the monthly earnings from properties that you own as well as properties that you don't own, understanding the up to size as well as the neighborhood value, and determining which properties, which collections this property is a part of, as well as calculating the boosted earnings. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot here. Leave us a comment with any questions you might have. Give this video a like, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.